Whistle.
All right.
Have a seat.
Up front if you want. I know everybody sits in the back.
Yeah. That's him doing the phone.
I can't be all the way over there.
That's right.
Jeez.
How are you getting?
Okay, we set? I'll ask again. Anybody belong to this? Okay. Finally got rid of it. Anybody belong to this? Little green one? No takers. Okay. And this, yeah, but there's no ID. Second, if you haven't signed the sign-in sheet, would you please do so before you leave anyway? So MJ can keep track of who shows up. I'll leave it right here in the corner. A few business items. Thanks for coming out here to the wilds of Chesterfield County. Pat Davis kindly showed me around her church as a potential permanent home for us, instead of these floating library assignments. Pat, could you explain a little bit about?
So, I go to New Hanover Presbyterian Church, which is right on 301, about 2.5 miles north of the intersection of 301 and 295. So if you're coming from the west end, it might take 30 minutes. If you're coming from the south side, it might take 30 minutes. But it's very easy to find, and it's right on 301. And we have a nice meeting space, and of course, we need to go check it out and make sure it's suitable for the equipment.
Do you have, does it have Wi-Fi?
It does.
Okay. It should be fine then.
Excuse me. So, I mean, the room that we have, I mean, we have 2 rooms available. One is probably bigger than this room is, and the other is probably about half the size of this room. But, and I'd have to get it, authorized by the church governing board, but I don't think that would be a problem at all. And, so anyway, just to put it out there, a rental fee or it would be pro bono on the basis of donation. That would be fine.
There is, as a church, of course, there's ample parking.
Yeah.
It's right off the, there's a little kitchen there, I guess, where you can get some coffee and so forth. And I met the people there. They're very hospitable, welcoming, and it would avoid this. If you don't know, you can't rent, you can't assign, you get an assigned room in the Henrico County Library on a permanent basis. You can't say, I want every Monday morning on the first Monday forever and ever. You have to do it month by month, which is why we wind up jumping around from here to there. So.
And you can only make 2 reservations at a time.
You can only make 2 reservations. So you're really kind of, you don't really know where you're going to be. This would give us a place where we knew where to go. Yes, it would be a bit of a drive for some people. This was a bit of a drive today for some of us. And I just wanted to get a sense of whether we should continue to look at this or not.
New Hanover, and I can tell you the address is 10058 Chamberlain Road, Mechanicsville.
it's a newish church. There's ample, as I said, there's ample space. I'm not trying to sell it, but it just would make it, I think it would make our planning considerably easier.
And the reason that I suggest, or that I put it out there is because there was some talk last month about people were confused about where to go or something, so. And I thought, well, you know, there's a preschool that meets there during the school year, but they don't meet in the particular rooms that I'm talking about, so. It's available space.
Is there a screen in the room?
There is a screen in the room, alternatively, there is a big, TV monitor that could be wheeled into the room that's about 75 inches diagonal. Where the image would be brighter, but it would be smaller, obviously.
You get the address again.
10058 Chamberlain Road, and that's LAYN.
And you did check it out to make sure that it's satisfactory for you before we commit on that? Yeah, I could, well, as long as it's got a big room and as long as it has access to the internet, would be.
I mean, if you want to check that, come and check the strength of the signal, I don't, you know, I can't address that.
Yes, it is a screen.
In the screen of the projector,
It's pretty self-contained.
this is our projector.
This is all our, yeah.
Our church has Wi-Fi, but the passcode is not. It's very warm in the maze, you know, so there's some issue there, right? Yeah, and somebody else may have an alternate place that's more centrally located, but this is an easy place to get to.
It's not that we're giving up anything, it's on it. I don't like it. I mean, what were we giving up 2 months in advance?
Yeah,
That's all we do.
we could try it on a,
You said 10058.
I think that's right. New Church of New Hanover.
New Hanover Presbyterian Church.
Yeah.
Perhaps I live in Chesterfield, but, you know, any of that up there.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's once a month.
And I, you know, it's just an idea, so if it works, it works, if it doesn't, it's fine.
There's a map.
Well, I think Bill has an idea. Maybe one of these future meetings will just, we'll give it a test.
The next one's, next place we don't have a location.
Sure.
We'll have to do it at the next, I think we're set for the next.
The
Two.
church administrator has about it, but, I do need conversation from the board.
Well, what we'll do is we'll look at our schedule. I think we've got a next couple of months
I think we already.
penciled in, but maybe by September, we'll give it a try and see if people think it's too far or whatever. But I went up there with Pat and I think it could work. And the parking is obviously no problem, no issue the way it can be some places.
Maybe you don't have to be Sunday.
By the way, when is your regular meeting? Is it always?
Always the second Monday of the month,
Okay.
10 o'clock. Okay, well, we'll give some thought to that and we'll put it on. Kemp and I will look into scheduling. Yeah. And there are, some of us may want to carpool. Nancy is right around the corner from me. I'll be glad to pick her up and drive. Okay, good. Thanks, Pat.
This meeting at 10 or 9:30, it's after rush hour, right? So
Yeah,
rush hour should be the problem.
that's right.
Yeah.
So we'll put that on the to try list, okay?
And so. Okay, September.
Probably September.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember exactly how far ahead, but if you talk and see if we can get September and we'll see about it. Trial bit, okay? Other business. Yeah, the last newsletter, I got a bunch of people saying they couldn't open it because it was so large. I tried to give everybody access to Google search or whatever it's called. If it didn't work, I'm sorry. It was an abnormally large. We won't do that again. We'll keep her smaller. And speaking of newsletters, I have been rejected by a number of people who about being asked about being the favorite photographer of the month for various reasons, not right now, in the future or something. So at the moment, we don't have a favorite photographer lined up for the July newsletter. So here's a thought. If everybody would send me in the next week or so, one favorite image you've ever taken, ever created. It's one you just even frame and put on your wall. Just one, because that's all we'll probably have room for if everybody responds. And we'll have an issue where we'll have favorite photographs. And along with your photograph, a short paragraph on why you love it and why it's your favorite photograph. I've got one I want to talk about, and I'm sure everybody has a favorite photograph. Don't you have a favorite photograph? Make one up then. That's a lie. You have a favorite photograph. It's your personal favorite photograph. No, it's your personal favorite photograph. The one you just can't live without. Okay? It might be fun to see. Besides, it'll fill 3 or 4 pages, and otherwise we're going to have a newsletter that's about 2 pages long. Nancy, do you want to talk about quick tips?
We did something called quick tips, with an idea of what down from New Jersey Canada Club. So what it is a quick tip, 5 minutes or less, members supply it. And we did it between the photo in and the photo share. I can't do whoever gets ready for a photo share. Anything photograph, quick tip. The way I remember it, when I still remember, you get a quick tip. Mirrorless, you get your mirror locked up. It can be something like anything. Your favorite website for photography tips.
Yeah.
How to do a search. And it can be the other side of it. It can be a question. I want to put something on Canvas. Does anybody know? Give me a tip or where I can get it. So it's either a tip or a question. And it gets us. It's a learning process. It's an interaction, social thing. So it was a very well received. When there's a club in here when we did too. So I thought we could revise that. And to get started, I have a very quick tip again. The key is 5 minutes or less. Then I figure out what a new camera. And you can buy a camera at B&H or they always have these deals. So I got the deal that came with two batteries and a bunch of other stuff. Like battery change with the camera, had to be a good battery, right? Battery that's stuck in the camera. Who get it out? No matter what I did. So my quick tip, I Googled it, is you get a piece of double-faced tape, put it on the end, you get something like a dog tee or a nail or something small. Come right out. The quick tip is, you have me, probably can see this. These cheap batteries, they balloon out in the middle. So the quick tip is don't buy these cheap batteries. It's not how to get it out. It's don't buy these cheap batteries. That's my quick tip.
I've also been told by some professional photographers, don't buy the aftermarket batteries. buy the one if you got an icon or
Yes.
buy their.
Yeah,
If you have trouble with them going bad, you're in the middle of a shoot somewhere and you just. are dead.
And then when was happening local, everybody really stream batteries.
Maybe
And I went out and I got the battery.
the way you describe it, one of my magazines is, you got one, buy two batteries in the aftermarket, one lasts you just as long as a normal one. If the other one gets you trouble and you save $20 and you're out in the middle of nowhere, you wish you'd spent that $20.
Yep.
Nancy, just to take off on that, I too have bought some battery or something else. I just think of a piece of plain, one-sided cellophane tape. Put it on the side of the battery, have it a little bit long and fold over the top, so you have a little handle on it. And then you can, it's always there, if it sticks, if not, sometimes if you've been shooting a lot, the battery might expand. And you can just lift it right out and pull it right down, and if your camera's on a tripod, it makes it a lot easier too. And just have that little pop thing fold over the top of that.
Those are good tips.
You said stick something into it, pull it out. Well, I mean, be very careful that you don't penetrate the.
You just, you're out of the community, you just put the table on the top. So you don't, you don't penetrate, you don't put anything on the side, it's on the top. And then you can just put it. So that's my quick day, and, I'm looking for someone to do the quick ticket, next month, I'm gonna send out an email, I'm gonna bag you all, so somebody steps up, and we have a quick ticket.
That's a good one. Basically, buy something decent. Yeah, the battery was no good. Okay. Two other reminders. The monthly photo challenge for next month is, well, it's called Seeing Red, but it's images where one color dominates. Doesn't have to be red, can be any color. But when you look at the image, what you see is, woo, red or blue or something, one color domination. And second, we continue to get closer to the library show information. There's information in each newsletter about deadlines and so on. You've probably seen this exhibit. It's from one photographer and it's days of the week and so forth. And now for the fun. Why don't we talk about, or why don't we show him altered photographs? I sent out a rather simple shot of a woman coming down a stairway in the British Museum. And I think I've got half a dozen and Kemp says he's got some. So let's see what ideas people came up with. There's the original shot.
I like the way it was. I didn't think there was anything.
This is Ed Schrader's. He calls it Chinese wall. He turned the British Museum into a Chinese museum. I think, MJ, is that yours?
It's not on.
Okay. Yeah, MJ just added a bunch of people. Ed Schrader. No,
I didn't know how you did that. I was just gonna ask if it was AI.
yeah, I don't know how he did it. He just,
You can do it in, you were like, you do it definitely. Lightroom has the new AI features.
you're trying to look at the lights.
No, that's mine. First thing I did was take the person out. And then I didn't know what else to do with it, so.
Is that AI, Nancy?
Oh, no, I, converted it to a sketch from thing, and like,
How did you convert it to sketch?
oh, it's very old, and
Wait, cut the lights on.
like the like big middle of black and white with lines, and then I did a color overlay, I just moved past it. And cropped some along the right. I really didn't know what to do.
There we go.
Other than take the person.
Oh, that's mine. All I did was fool around a little in Photoshop and went into their gradient program and just added different colors.
That one's mine. And I messed around a little bit with the photo filters, and I don't often use that. So, and then I just added the people AI, I added the name of the columns, and I expanded the foreground. And of course, I added the plant and the wizard. Yeah, I originally added a spider coming from the state of using AI, but it just wasn't the spider. It would, I don't know, it muffled around, there was like a shadow around the whole thing, and it messed with the background. It wasn't just the spider. So I opted for the lizard. And I learned that if you put two AI images close together, then it'll chop off the tail of one of the pictures, so. Well, that's what I think.
Okay.
Those. This is Bruce Murph.
Okay.
He sent that one in.
Who's this?
Bruce Murph,
Murph.
and he sent it too. He sent that one and this, of course. It's Bruce, yeah.
Okay.
And this was mine. And this one's did kind of a apocalyptic style. I used AI to put the ivy hanging all over the building, and then I cut him out of a zombie walk picture I had and posted him in there. I like that. I like that. Yeah, it worked pretty good. I think. Yeah, that was.
Sam, did you do the AI and that was Photoshop?
Yes. Yeah, it was in Photoshop. Editor fill. Just highlight a little area and fill it with ivy.
Nice. Okay.
I was just gonna say, St. Bruce's photograph reminded me, I know he sent out an email to everyone about the F-22 group in your showdown at the Richmond Library. It's a really talented group of photographers. Laura Laporte's in that group, Joe Ring. Who else is there? Yeah, there's a lot, and it's really, I don't want to see the show, I'm sure.
It's the Richmond, the main one.
Yeah, the main library downtown. It's on now. It's up now through the end of July.
Okay,
Yeah, just look at this, put up on, Friday. You know that, he was sick back in the hospital. So I thought, here today, why. Talk about is that. So.
well, that's too bad. Okay. Is that it, Kemp, for
Yeah,
altered?
that's all the altered image.
Okay. Um. Sue was hunting around for a program for this month and kept getting turned down and so forth. So in an emergency measure, I stepped in and put together something. And it's basically what to do when you get, or some ideas on what to do when you get photographer's block. We all get, it's like writer's block. We all get it. Kemp, if you could. That explains it. And these are photographs that are not mine, but they are ideas that I've come across over the years, and one of these days I may try some of them. But go ahead. Photographers can have the equivalent of a writer's block. That's what your camera looks like after 6 months in the closet. Nancy said that's her camera right there. It's a Canon, right? Okay, next one. What not to do about not what to do about photographer's block. Turn on the TV and watch the news. No, don't do that. Beat yourself up for not being more motivated. Complain about it to anyone who will listen, and convince yourself it will never end. These are non-useful ideas. Instead, here are some ideas that might help you get back behind the camera. Notice the old photographer, notice the very old camera. Idea one, go up and smoke. Anybody ever try smoke photography? Bruce has. Okay. Easy enough to do. In many cases, you just need an incense stick to make smoke, a dark background, items for your still life setup, and a light source and a tripod. And that's one version. Go ahead, Kim. That's another version of smoke photography. Just a simple match, and if you time it right, nice photograph.
You know, what kind of, are you using like a speed line, or are you using?
Experiment, do whatever you want. These are, I hope, some ideas that might get you thinking about something to try when you're just wondering, okay, what am I gonna do now? Go ahead, Kim. No. Yeah. This is one of my favorites. It's just a simple shot. Baseball with somebody blowing some smoke at it. But it should stick your shutter speed slow enough. You can do it with a flash. Yeah. In fact, we'll see that. Just have to leave it up there. Okay, go ahead. There's a simple shot with some incense sticks. And I think the combination of the vertical sticks and smoke makes kind of a fun photograph. So when you do this, try not to burn your house down. Make tracks. Who's tried, like, most of us has probably tried this at some point or another. Just move the light with an open shutter. Go ahead, Kim. That's another version. Not exactly fireworks, but it's sort of like fireworks. if you get the right place and the right time of day, you can combine some really nice sunset and moving cars. The best place I've got down here is you go down to the 4th Street Bridge in the city, and you can get you get the city skyline, and then you get the cars coming in and out right underneath you. And it's anybody done that other than me? Bruce? Yeah. Yeah, Libby Terrace. You still get lights coming at you. Right. Right. Yeah. So there are a couple of spots that lend themselves to this. In fact, I should set up a,
What's the state building right there next to 95? Yeah, go out there on the deck, then you can get the Main Street Station.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
the lights coming around the
Yeah,
curve.
there are several spots in the city that, you know, a lot of things. You can't get up from the observation deck of City Hall anymore. You know, that great 18th story observation deck where you can get wonderful shots. That's closed. This is just time-lapse photography. Those are stars circling. It's a long time. Yep. Yep. But again, you know, experiment, see what you get. Still life, stay still, come up with interesting projects. I laughed out loud when I saw this. I thought that was a great idea. Somebody took his favorite frame picture and then put a couple of pairs watching it. And I thought, okay, that's an interesting still life. Okay, try this one and see how many eggs you break. It's a hard-boiled egg. and just 2 forks and a simple setup. But I just think that's a photograph that makes you stop and go, hey, that's pretty neat.
And the variation of what I've done is sprinkle a little salt down there, balance the egg on it, and then blow the loose salt away, and it looks like the egg is just sitting up there by itself.
Okay. You do that post-processing. Okay. Still life doesn't have to be inside. You can do still life outside. Go down some alley. This is I just like what that photograph says about this alley. Abandoned bike, you know, etc. And this is an easy one. Lipsticks. You can do it with lip. But you could do it with lipsticks. You could do it with any kind of a product where you just can focus down on it, and you get, in this case, lipsticks because it's a nice variety of color. And you can create a light trail still life. Set the shutter speed, set the aperture, and set your thing up, black background, so forth, and start moving the flashlight around and back of the product, and continue doing so while you open the shutter, and you've got kind of a fun shot. You see the light on the bottle? See the light? It's reflected in the bottle a little bit.
Here, you look at your back and I mean, you do this, the light's going to be.
It's behind the bottle.
Starts out behind the bottle, and then what the streaks are, he brings the flashlight out, puts it back. Brings it out, and puts it back. That's what makes the streaks so light.
Well, good. That's a nice challenge for you then, isn't it? Take the photograph first, then drink the bottle. Okay. Go for bokeh. This one is a rather simple shot. It's crumpled foil. Crumple the foil and put it in back. And shine a light on it, and then just put your prop against it. And you've got, in this case, a pocket watch with a interesting bokeh background. This is for when you're really bored and don't have anything to do. Try these. Go ahead. That's obvious. You go out into the field and try to capture the. It looks like it. You can do it any place. I mean, the foreground fence and cab are kind of in focus, but the rest is just bokeh. Again, you know, these are things you can just try over and over again. Pardon?
Be good. The 9th Street Bridge,
Yeah,
Manchester Bridge would be good.
yeah. There's always, those of you with pets, there's always, your pet will be happy to cooperate, I'm sure. Create a soap opera. Boy, that's a simple one. Regular soap bubbles will quickly burst. To create a soap solution, add 2 tablespoons of liquid soap, hand soap or dishwasher soap, to a half a cup of water. Then mix in a few drops of glycerine and leave it for a few hours. The glycerine gives the bubbles strength and makes them last longer.
Water and
Soap, liquid soap, half a cup of water, add a little glycerin, let it sit for a while, put it down, and you've got, the bubbles will last a little bit. So when you plunk them down, you'll have time to get your shot. And these are simple, you know, those old things you used to blow bubbles with that go out. Well, do it again now that you're an adult and go out in the field and blow the bubble and take your pictures. Anybody have any foggiest idea what this is? This is a photograph of bubbles on a car being washed. So again, you know, you just, you can do photographs of anything. You just have to think in terms of, I'm washing my car, maybe I can get a nice picture while I'm at it. This is obvious. Look for this most spectacular light you can find. This is just a great photograph to me. I just love the tree. And go ahead. This one is a little bit, there's a little bit of a time lapse. I mean, a little bit of a, you can see, well, I don't know if you can see it on this screen, but you can see a little bit of star movement up there. Well, what the photographer did was set up, and then I don't know how long his exposure was, but he got stars moving a little bit and he got the mist moving. So I think that's, again, a nice shot. Okay, Kim. This is just unusual light display in some Chinese city. And this is just the luck of the draw. You're in the right place at the right time. The sunset is, you know, you got a great scene and you wait for the sun to hit the water just right. Like all these shots, there's a lot of patience involved. And I always thought one of the most interesting things about photography is the combination of patience and speed. Well, you got to be patient to wait for your shot, and then when it's there, you got to move. You got to really take your shots.
No patience and no speed.
Well, there are some who, you know, you're a failure right now. Look for the dark side. These are really simple. You get a fork and a plate and put it on a sill by your window, and you just create a shadow photograph. Same thing here. You get the right person who's willing to sit there for a while. You can use Venetian blinds. You can have somebody sit in front of the blinds in your window. As the light comes in, you can do a variety of things. Go ahead. And then, of course, you just look for patterns in the city or wherever. Shoot black and white, underexposed, try to create a mood. I just thought this was a really interesting approach to dark side photography. All they did, the model just simply held his hands like that. You focused on his eyes, and you got a nice composition. We all got somebody at home who'd be willing to pose for us, right? Bend the light. Everybody try this? No? Okay. Well, what you do, you bend the light through glass or water or whatever. In this case, it's a glass and a glass pitcher, and it's some avocados cut in half and simply dropped into the water with the light coming in from the back. And you've got this sort of mysterious photograph. Go ahead. Same thing. This is just a simple cup in front of a colorful background with the light coming through. That obviously is Sydney. And what the photographer did was take his wine glass and fill it up and put it on a railing looking across at the Opera House. And that's what he got, which I think is really one heck of an idea. I don't know where you could try that here. There must be some spot where you can set up a wine glass and look through at the Dominion building or something or other and see if you can make it flip. But I thought that was a fun idea. What this one is a simple glass of whiskey on a piece of plexiglass, the light shining up from underneath. And you've created light coming through the whiskey itself, but you've also got these refractions going all over the place. And a nice way to spend an evening. And then when you're done, you have the glass. Make a splash. In this case, 5 pencils of slightly different colors held together, probably with a rubber band, plunged into a vase of water. And as I said, you move quickly. As soon as they go in and the bubbles pop, take your shot. I don't know. Try both. Try whatever. Okay, Ken. These are, lots of photographers have tried this trick. You simply cut up fruit and you drop it into the vase of water, and as it's plunging down, you take your shot, and you can get this kind of image. Or as you're preparing your martini and you drop your fruit in, you, again, black background, try different lighting and drop and shoot. This one was really interesting. Underneath it, there is this British flag underneath a piece of glass. And what the photographer has done is dropped drops of water splashing on the glass. By picking up the flag and, you know, the background is just plain white. This is all ways you can spend hours of useless time. Line up, we all look for lines. I thought this was a great line shot. The lines themselves are interesting, but to have the kid perfectly positioned is, so find a great place with lines and then dragoon the neighborhood kid into being your prop, and you can get a nice shot. Okay? All different kinds of lines. Horizontal and vertical. And that's just some weird building somewhere or other, and it's simply lines, horizontal, vertical. And there are spots down the Lee Bridge and so forth, which would, or any other bridges around the city where you've got that nice arch. And the footbridge to Belle Isle, yep. But this, you know, because there's a fence there and there's the arch. And I like this one because it was just black and white, really brought out the shape, the line. And lines don't have to be straight, obviously, they can be curved. Okay, Kim. Brighten your day. This is just a simple, the back ends of colored pencils held in a hand, and you shoot down at it, and you've got yourself, you know, a happy photograph. I can't think of more brighten your day shot than this one. I mean, somebody's daughter or granddaughter playing with those bubbles. You can have a lot of trouble. Just go to the store and get one of those little things, you know, where you used to blow bubbles. You can create a lot of stuff with that. And this one was, I mean, what could be a brighter shot than that? This is a flash shot with 3 different colors splashing at the same time. And you'll probably make an incredible mess, but at the end, you might get an interesting shot. This is just serenity. You just. Be mysterious. Okay. This is where those of you who like to play with your photographs can have fun. In this case, it's creepy. Well, yes, but it starts with a headshot of the woman and a bunch of clouds, and she's obviously having interesting thoughts, or as Nancy said, creepy thoughts. I love this shot. It's just a mysterious shot of a forest. Light is a little misty. Everything is a little fuzzy around the edges. It makes me sort of say, I wonder where this is. And this shot, I think, is deliberately out of focus, but it's late at night, it's a foggy night, street, and it just, you know, you could ask yourself a lot of questions about this. Where is it? What's going on? Is it part of a, you know, mystery movie or whatever? But it's mysterious. This one was created, obviously. They got the flowers in the meadow and then played around to get the light coming through. And you're wondering, is this what the entrance to heaven looks like or something? But it's a mystery. Try a different slant on life. You can buy one of those little balls, glass balls or prism, and just putting those in the right place, you get a whole different perspective on the scene. Anybody ever tried prism photography? You can just, get an ordinary prism and just shine a light through it and watch it break into different colors. Or the next one, get the prism light to fall on the face or a different subject. And I just thought that's an interesting portrait. Go deep or shallow. This is where you've got a real big depth all the way back to the castle. And it doesn't have to be outside. This is a great depth of field inside shot, simply showing a chessboard or a city street. Again, I don't know. The original shot is sharper than what it is on the screen, but everything is sharp all the way down. Or go really shallow. This is simply a few buds with a very shallow depth of field in the background. And I like that shot. You know what she's doing? She's in a yoga pose, but the photographer has set his depth of field. So the only thing that's really sharp are her hands right in front of the lens. Everything else, gives you a hint of what she's doing, but not really telling you. Same here. Photographer got down on the ground, as Nancy sometimes does, and the mushrooms in the front are kept in focus, but everything sort of fades away in the background. A nice use of depth of field. Freeze. Anybody ever try putting things inside ice cubes, freezing them and taking them out and shooting? That's all this is. This is one you want to try when we get the rare winter storm. As you sit in the car with your camera, you get your significant other to get out and scrape away the windshield. And then she won't ever talk to you again, or at least for a while. Obviously, sports freezing is something everybody can try if you love sports. I just think this kid is perfectly frozen. And this is a very simple shot. An ice cube on a counter, simply letting it melt and capturing the drops. But an interesting pattern. We all know oil and water don't mix, but give it a try, because the array of photographs is you just never know what you're going to get, and you get an astonishing bunch of color. Or go ahead, Kim. Different colors. You can get one. It's just Leo has done this a lot, and some of the things he shows in the past have been really spectacular. Okay. I think
You got mail.
we'll run through this real quickly because we got a lot of photo share we want to show. When I want to get back on the camera, I call my 8-word photography. That's all I focus on, 8 words. And your words probably will be different. Kemper, let's just run through these. One word for me is color. obviously, one color, bunch of colors. Oars at a regatta. If you ever go to a sailing race, there are incredible array. Just a truck I came across downtown. Patterns. Pattern. I was at a stoplight and I looked to my right and I saw this shot and I just thought, man, that is a perfect porch. I mean, the red chair, the table. I just thought that made me feel really good. So long that I stayed at the stoplight so long, they started beeping at me. Again, pattern, just an old porch. Shapes. That's a stairway over at the Haynes Commons in University of Richmond, looking straight now. Those are some tiles at an antique mall. That's at the Valentine. Just a church with a variety of shapes and patterns. Lines. Again, you go down on Monument Avenue and you look at some of those great old houses. There are lines all over. In this case, horizontal, vertical, little squares. And if you're in one of those European cathedrals, the lines there lead to everything. This was down on the Teapot Bridge. And that's not snow, it's a fog. It was a foggy morning. But the lines lead right into them. This is over at the University of Richmond, one of those buildings where there's the diagonal lines, the squares, lines. People. Infinite variety of people shots. This was at the Civil War Museum. They were dressed up for some celebration. And I like this one because it's not only people, it's lines. The lines of the artwork lead right to the people. This is one of those street guys who had two wands that he put into the soap mixture and then held out and made bubbles. And that's how he collected money. Just a happy face. And another people shot, University of Richmond baseball game. Space. Negative space or just space around the shot. This is Lee's statue. The moon through an opening. The sense of space there, the people, the tiny people on the big bridge. Science Museum. It's a piece of art at the VMFA. Motion. This is the most recent U-Crops race where I just really concentrated on just trying to get motion of the runners. This is caught a guy kayaking down in the James. On an airplane that was just about lifting off. This was driving down this country road on a rainy day. Saw this car coming at me. Propped the camera on my dashboard. Took the shot. Probably shouldn't have done it, but got a nice shot of car speeding towards you. And my favorite category is what? As in, what the heck is this? Somewhere over along Carytown, I came across this wall, Need Supply Company. And I just, what? They supply needs or what? I have no idea what that is. I just like the shot. Oh, this was in Windsor. We were on a visit there. And that's a phone, one of those, the old British red phone boxes. But I'm looking out at one side is the Queen and looking out on the other side is Kate. And I just thought, that's weird. With her always carrying her purse. This is at the Science Museum, and I thought, what a welcome that is. I was at my granddaughter's lacrosse game, sitting up high in the stands, and I turned around and looked down, and I saw this guy standing there trying to figure out how the heck am I going to get out of here? Now, their cars really aren't that close together because this was in the long lens. But I just thought, perfect picture of puzzlement. That's just the decor. There's a little shop down in the city that has this on its front door. Just a variety of shapes. And guess who this is? Oh, come on, Dave. It's you. Yes, it is. We were over underneath the I-95 overpass, you know, where you could drive back in there a little bit. And Dave was there with his tripod, taking some shots, and I got a shot of Dave. And I still like that shot because it's just, what's going on here? Now you remember, yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. And this one, I was at a women's lacrosse game at the U of R. And I was just fascinated to look across and see, one, nobody in the stands except this couple. And I couldn't quite tell whether she had a bride's dress on or not. But I just thought, you know, again, what's going on here? Again, one of these shots where I was sitting at a stoplight waiting and the cross traffic was going back and forth. And I just tried a few motion shots and this is what I got. And if you might not be able to figure it out. This is, some of you are going to know what this is because you've been there so many times. Yeah, it's the VMFA, the stairway there. Again, lines, curves. I like the guy at the bottom. The whole thing leads you down into him. And what is this? Anybody know where this is? It's the downtown train station. If you wander back into the catacombs, there are some murals. And this one I thought was fantastic. And that is, my wife's a quilter, as you know, and I go to quilt shows with her, and that's a quilt. And I just thought that was really an interesting approach to quilts. It drive you nuts if you looked at it for a while.
Yeah. Check her out for a while.
Okay, I think that's it. Okay, those are my 8 words. And then the other ideas are things for you to try on a rainy day. Get the juices going. Okay, let's move on. We got photo share. That's right, yeah. These are from Ed Schrader. The challenge this month was close-up stuff. Get as close as you can. And he got very close to a cat. Creepy. He got close to an old Chevrolet. close to some flowers. Okay, these are mine. Mary and I went down to City Hall, old City Hall, a couple weeks ago. These I took probably about 5 or 6 years ago, before they quote improved things. This is what it used to look like inside. Anybody ever see the old City Hall before it was remodeled? Well, you missed an amazing, amazing building. This is what it was like. Go ahead, Kemp. This is what it looks like now. It, yeah, yeah, I was very disappointed. Go ahead. That's what it looked like from the ground floor looking up once upon a time to the skylight. That's what it looks like now. I mean, it's still interesting, but it ain't as interesting as it used to be. I mean, I just couldn't imagine the construction on this thing once upon a time. And that's how they've, quote, improved it. And the detail, that's what the detail looks like now.
I mean, was it more like this, or was it the different colors?
It was the different colors. That's what it,
In original, like.
I think so. Yeah. You couldn't do that now. It would be just, and I understand why they changed it, because it's just the maintenance and upkeep on that ornate building would have been outrageous. But still, very sorry to see it go. The change. I don't know, but it looks like a castle, so I'm guessing could be 19th century. It's still a fun place to go in, right, Barry? But it's not the way it was. Yeah, I should. Yeah, I should, because I've taken a whole bunch when I took a whole bunch when it was like that, and it was just I was shocked when I went in there and saw how they ruined it.
There's similar to I didn't have the before I wanted to get a shot of the history. That was my
I mean, it's still neat to go in, and it would be a great place to work.
Got the all three doors as much as possible. And I with a camera on a tripod, and I just did not everything on pretty much correctly. So sort of in desperation, I laid my cell phone on the floor, and it's the best.
Like you were laying on the floor.
I really like that because it looks like it actually looks like a picture frame. Yeah, it does. It really, you have to study it. That's really a neat picture. That's a detail in the So after we finished up at old City Hall, we were on our way over to the church, and I shot us a close up of the lion statue. That's the shot was my little icon piece, 700, which is a super human. And I think the optical film was about 700 millimeters. That's the sanctuary.
Who's been in, other than me and Bruce, because we go there, who's been into St. Paul's. Yeah, we've been in there, yeah.
It's a beautiful church, I would call it neoclassical in style.
Mary, is that the church that's near the?
Yes.
Right across-
St. Paul's?
right across the street, yes.
The church building, the sanctuary is open every day. It's one of the few places, few churches downtown where the church is open for, you can go in and meditate or pray or whatever. But if you go in to take photographs, please, go into the office and let people know. We've become very concerned about people wandering in and out of the church. But if anybody wants to go down, I'll be happy to set up a shoot.
Just a detail on, call it capital. A lot of beautiful stained glass, including, Japanese.
10 Tiffany's.
And I think this may be Tiffany, I'm not sure.
Yes, it is.
And this is a fascinating, piece of art, it's, silhouette cut out of paper. And, it's like maybe 2.5 feet by 4 feet or
Yeah.
something like that. It's a very big piece. And there are 10 ingredients.
14.
And, one of the main priorities of this church is to reconcile the history going back to the Civil War. And this church was a the Church of the Confederacy, basically. So some baggage carries over the needs of priority to reconcile that. And then after we're finished at St. Paul's, I go back in the car. This is a shot of a utility rig. So it's an interesting down on it was on nights. This is close up, and I like the architectural elements. Have the clear column base, the plank, and the wall. And I shot in color, but I like the black and white. And I like the green wheels to the this last one, there's a little AI involved in it. Shot with the phone, and on the original shot, on the right hand side by the potted plant, the sign was a car. And it looked completely out of place, and there was a little distortion in the shot, and it was way out of scale to the pedestrian in the background. So this morning I stumbled onto a way to enlighten me to remove it, and it worked very well. So I'm glad again when
I think there are a lot of nice elements in that shot.
These are mine. This is a friend in our backyard. Could you just wait? This is at on Road Park. I kept hearing, and I shot this a couple of years ago or whatever. And I kept hearing a little tweet, tweet, tweet. I kept looking up. I didn't know where it was coming in. It was a baby bird. And And eventually the mother came back for the, so we, before we get, sure. Lewis. My neighbor's yard, frequently there. I just like the colors. Same place. I don't know what, where's Tom? I don't know what bee bomb, what bee bomb.
It's a bee bomb, yeah. It's a,
I didn't know what it was, but I did like. Again, my neighbor's. She's hardly there, so I'm like, I'm always walking around. I think that's it.
This is mine. Daylily, this is all in my yard. Hydrangea. It's a single forsythia blossom. It's the heart of an anemone.
what lens were you using, Bruce?
Sorry,
What lens were you using?
that's an older photograph, I don't remember.
Okay,
I love bearded irises, are great, great fun to photograph. That is a peony that's just beginning to open up. And we got that last fall, we light coming back through.
This is one of Bruce Murph's. It's called Bang. This also his seamstress. This one is called Concern. This is Mary.
Oh, this is mine. This is a, brown-headed nuthatch that perched like 10 feet away from us. We were on the boardwalk, so that picture is hardly even cropped, and I wish you could see it closer, because it's you can see a lot of better detail. Anyway, he was the most friendly little brown-headed nuthatch I've ever seen. This is a, this was at Echo Lake Park recently, and it's a, I can't think of anything duck it is. Anyway, they all have those weird facial features.
talk about eerie. That's eerie.
And I thought he was either giving me a side eye or being flirtatious. This is a, or, I'm just, words. Anyway, it was a flower I bought at Trader Joe's, and I just like the appearance of the flowers. That was a flower that's blooming now at outside. It's a small rose, a little sweaty one. This was a RDPC meetup at a train graveyard, they call it. And this is a very, very close shot of the rusted side of one of the cars. And this was a shot I took recently on the river, in Osprey, down to around the fish off the water.
That's it, Maymont. When I took it, I didn't see the little bug there. This is down at Chip Oaks Plantation. That was there too. And this was Freedom Park down in Williamsburg. And this was down there too, a spider wrapping up a meal. And this is up in Williamsburg at Chatham Plantation. And this is up there too, and I was amazed at how much pollen was on that bee. He was just covered with it. This is Patricia Munford's.
That's a good what if shot. What is that?
Chrysanthemum.
Okay.
Flamingo tongue snail. Ghost cactus. Gold Mountain Ice River. Headshot. Oriental paper bush. That's all of those.
Mine. I drained you in our yard. Loaded this year. It was our one only flower on our peony. Peony bush. It is, I have no clue, it's the one I dug out of my archives, I just look at the picture of a flower. Is that north? Okay, I guess that. Our very senior golden retriever, 15 years old. He built a spider web overnight in our window. And a huge mushroom in our yard last fall.
Yeah, they're on I put them on my phone. Yeah.
And
But you can give that, you can give. Nancy has some.
Is these? Is this?
No, it'd be easier if you went to my drive. Yeah. I think I gave you the wrong thumb drive.
Yeah, this is says April.
If you put my thumb drive back in, Kim, I have Nancy's shots on that.
No, it should be a RDPC June
Yeah, wipe it clean, will you?
No, there's none on here.
What the heck?
It's just the altered photo, Ed's, Peter's, and then your presentation.
I put it on there. Oh, sorry. Okay, we all set?
Yeah, that's all of them.
That's all photo share? Okay. Thanks, Nancy. You can bring yours again next month. Get there. On the program presentations, Sue has been working endlessly and tirelessly to try to get visiting speakers to come, and sometimes we draw a blank. But if there's anyone here, and we have had presentations from members in the past about various things. I know Anita did one on playing with your photographs after your photographs. So if anybody has a topic that they'd like to talk half an hour or so on with some shots, please talk to me afterwards and we'll see if we can line you up. Because I know everybody has different things, everybody has different interests, and we can all learn from everybody else's experiences. So that's the end of today's meeting, but as I said, if you've got something you think would make an interesting presentation, doesn't have to be 40 minutes, doesn't have to be 30 minutes. Can be shorter. But just see me afterwards. Otherwise, meeting adjourned and we'll see you next time. Yeah. You did that, didn't you?
And I've been trying to do it, and I know, what Bruce does a great job of it and everything. I like
I remember that.
It's easier Okay, anyway, I've been having difficulty with it, so I'd like some help on it.
Maybe you could give us a 5-minute tip? Yeah, okay.
You do show them on, the canvas and then, on that part.
Okay, but we got a request. Anybody knows how to work with Photoshop and put
Talking about putting like just a border.
just border around your shot?
Yeah, Bruce does a great job on it, Trish, I think, has some, and I've had difficulty.
Okay,
So, I mean, I think the principles are all the same, I'm sure people are working on much further.
I know when you print modules, you can do it. Where I do. You can do it in Photoshop by expanding your canvas
Right.
and then putting a different, whatever color you want on that. Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Somebody's gonna have a YouTube.
Okay.
I think that was a good meeting. Okay. Anybody else with our ideas for programs or willing to step up yourself? Let us know, because Sue has found it doesn't always work to line up an outside speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great meeting. Great presentations.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bye, everybody.
put that-
Thanks, Cam.
Bye-bye.